MOM Radio and the Pipe Bomb Radio Network presents Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your host, former WWE superstar, Oscar.
Here we go.
And we are live with Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your host, former WWE superstar, Oscar. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing good. Ready to have another great show tonight. I know you are.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it. How's your week been?
It's been very busy, but you know what? Busy is a good thing. Busy is always a good thing. I don't think that's not a bad thing.
No, good. And do we have
How's the weather out that way?
We have Dreamy
What's that?
with us. Is Dreamy here?
No, it's not yet. No, not yet.
All right. Well, okay. Are you, yeah, okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. I think she's calling in now. How you doing, Mimi?
I'm good. How you doing, Felix?
I'm doing very well. Glad to have you guys back again. Time for another fun-filled show tonight.
Great. Well, I have got a major announcement. The other night was Raw 1100, and they celebrated their 1100th anniversary. Well, guess what? We got an anniversary of our own. MOM Radio, this is show number 10. 10.
I hear the echo,
between
too.
The other networks and being on Pipe Bomb. Okay, we're at show number 10. Wow, yay, 10 shows in, yay. That's all right. We are going to beat Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, Adam Carolla, Jim Ross, and Howard Stern at this radio game if it kills us all. We are going to knock shows out the park, and I'm glad that this is our 10th show, and like 4 were on the Pipe Bomb, but we'll count those other ones with those other guys. I don't even remember their name. What was it? I don't know, whoever they was. But yeah, we 10 shows in the Not Your Mama's Radio, and here on Pipe Bomb, we'll be celebrating our 100th show in 2015. So we're looking forward to a lot of great things. So we're going to keep on going with this roller coaster, and that's going to be the way that goes. You like that, Felix?
I do like that. I know somebody else who will like that. Joining us just now, the one and only Sir Mo.
What did I miss?
How you doing, Mo?
What's going on?
All right. How's your week?
Good, man. Good. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, we're going to get to why you're feeling pretty good and all the things you got going on in a few minutes. But I need everybody to hang on and hang out for a second, because first, to open the show, I've got my opening statements to make, my diatribe, before we get into everything. We've got an exciting show. First tonight, I have got to give what I'm calling my act of contrition. I am feeling really contrite, and I'm going to tell everybody why. My crack staff of people, we're talking Felix and Austin at the network, we're talking Dreamy, we're talking Sermo. Last week, everybody pretty much was saying how the show could be better, improvements we need to do, different stuff we need to do. So I'm going to take everybody quickly, one at a time, and address you all's concerns, because I love my people. I love the people who work on this show, and as such, I am a giving host, and I have taken all your concerns. I've taken them all under advisement, and as such, here we are. All right. Felix said last week that we need to do stuff about TNA, Ring of Honor, and maybe even NXT. Well, We had a network discussion earlier, and we came to the consensus that on this show, as we may talk about it in the future, if you listen to Felix and Austin's show, Pipe Bomb Radio, on Tuesday, they cover those. We're all in the same network. We have basically the same listenership. So if you guys want to catch up on TNA, NXT, and the Ring of Honor stuff, they cover it pretty extensively on Felix and Austin's Pipe Bomb Radio show. Is that right, Felix?
We do actually mention it, but what we can do, we don't touch on it nearly as much as we used to. And with all of you guys' permission listening in tonight, I'd actually like to see about including it in maybe as soon as starting next week and bring up some discussions about what's going on in Ring of Honor, TNA, NXT. I know Ring of Honor just recently crowned a new World Heavyweight Champion, and Michael Elgin. That's for one thing, just an example. I mean, we could talk about what's going on, and I know not just give everybody just one piece of the pie. Give them a little bit of different slices and see what they think.
Okay.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, if you go ahead.
I agree. Can somebody answer a question for me though?
Yeah.
What sparked Ring of Honor into going and doing a regular pay-per-view instead of an internet pay-per-view this time? What brought that about?
Okay, wait, table that. We're going to get into all that, and we're going to get into all that in a few minutes. We're going to get into the discussion about it a little bit later on in the show. We'll get into it. All right, the second person that I need to address is my other producer, Austin Porsche. Now, Austin sends these little love notes and messages, about what he thinks of the show, suggestions, concerns, or whatever. Now, Austin was excited about us coming because what Austin wanted us to bring to the table is he wanted to have interviews with some of the greatest legends and characters in the wrestling business. So it seemed to me he got a little disappointed because we haven't had Vince on yet, or Triple H, or Ric Flair, or we haven't raised Eddie Guerrero from the dead yet. Okay, Austin, look. Austin, we are building. We are going to have some exciting guests on the show. We're going to do some exciting things, but we are trying to build an audience. I would hate to have a big, gigantic name on the show, and we're all just talking to each other. Then when the show got 15,000 listeners, and then I call, if I call Vince up and convince him to come on or do something like that, then I have 15,000 listeners, and I'll be like, well, Vince, I got a lot of people on. He's going to be like, I did this show a couple of months ago, and who was this again? No, we're going to build the show up. We're going to have great guests, and we're going to keep on building, and then we're going to get to the apex of what it is we're going to do. We got some big plans, Austin, buddy. And then I want to address, I got a note from him that he thought that we didn't have Lance on long enough last week. I think we had Lance on just as enough time. We discussed everything that we could discuss with the kid at this point. I mean, he doesn't have 20 years in where he can stay on the radio 2 hours and tell great stories. Then we topped it off with a fantastic story. So, I mean, we know what we're doing, Austin. We love you. We know what we're doing. Okay? All right. Now, Dreamy, I want to apologize to you, honey, baby, darling, because according to Dreamy, and I'm going to share this with everybody, Dreamy said the show was not too good last week. She wasn't happy with us at all. She said she was looking at the clock, and she said the show was, and I quote, like a dead animal that she was waiting to get put out of its misery. So we want to know from you, Dreamy, right now, what we've done, what we can do to make the show better.
Okay, first of all, I did not say that.
Okay, I had a moment, a little spin to it, but he did say that. He was looking at the clock last week.
Honestly, I can't say what we need to do to change anything. I think the show's going good. I mean, we just need to keep rolling with it.
Okay, but my question is, what was so bad about last week? I mean, I really felt bad when you said that.
Okay, I'm going to need you to get over it because we've had this discussion, and I couldn't answer you then, and I can't answer you now. So,
you're going to need me to get over it? Okay, I'm glad that you said that because people get a glimpse of how you talk to me at home. But okay, great. Okay, so I got over it. So the last piece of contrition that I have is I guess I have got to apologize to my good buddy Sir Mo, and let me tell you why. Last week at the close of the show, I got a verbal spanking last week. A tongue lashing. I felt like I was in the 5th grade, didn't do my homework, and my mother came in with the belt on the racing car track and just spanked my ass until she got tired. All because I didn't know who Q-Ball Carmichael was. If you'd heard, Mo was like, how the hell you ain't gonna know who Q-Ball Carmichael is? And then get on the radio, call yourself a pro wrestling radio host, and don't know who Q-Ball Carmichael is. I mean, he just went off on me last week. I felt so bad when I got off the radio that I felt like I owe Q-Ball Carmichael and his family an apology. But after I've had a week to think about it and a week to reflect, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I still don't know who the hell Q-Ball Carmichael is, nor do I care. There are thousands of people out there that don't even know who Oscar is, that don't even know who Mo is. And I've been in the game 20 years, so I'm not going to apologize for that. So now, Sir Mo, you can talk about anything you want to talk about, because I'm not sorry.
Hey, you know what? I'm here to listen today. I'm not even gonna waste my time, waste my time or my energy trying to convince you that saying that on the radio program is not a PC.
It's not what?
It's not a PC thing to do.
It's PC.
Yeah, you still got to remember. Even though you're sitting on the radio program, you're still in this wrestling game, and you still have to go to events. You still taking bookings. You still have to go to these shows. And these very people, listen to me, the very people that book you on these events think very highly of that person. And if that person say, you know what, I'm not coming to an event if you're going to have that asshole Oscar there. And then there you go. You done lost a booking because of your indiscretion on this radio program. You don't have to like the man. You don't have to know the man.
Like him? I don't know him.
None of that. You don't. But on this radio program, for the last time, not the place for that.
All right. You mentioned. You mentioned. What?
I'm through with my monologue now.
All right. You mentioned a PC a ways back there. PC being politically correct. You've known me for 20-some-odd years. When have you ever known me to ever be politically correct?
Now, I knew you weren't politically correct when you told the Brooklyn Brawler you'd have his ass floating in the river.
Yeah, okay. So when we first met, the first car ride, the first 15 minutes, when I told you and Nelson that my rap name was Casanova Ace, and y'all was politically correct, when y'all looked at me and was like, we never heard of Casanova Ace, insulted me in the car, and that's what I told y'all, but we're even because I never heard of the Harlem Nights.
Right.
Was that politically correct then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to know that.
Because it was in the company of each other and not on a wide broadcast radio program. That's the whole point. I don't care how you feel about it. It's not placing your presence.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
You know.
Yeah. Those bookings that are flooding into. Those bookings that are flooding into my inbox that I'm on a plane every week going to, in lieu of working a regular job like I am doing. Yeah, if I'm losing those, then I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just all over the place, and just my comments now are going to change that. Okay, I can see that. Now, I'll tell you what. To be politically correct and to be correct, I know that you get booked to go here, there, everywhere. You're going down to England. You're going back to Alabama. You open up a new federation. You get ready to have a couple of events and all that. The comments that come from Oscar are in no way in tandem shared by Sir Mo. I am on my own with the things that I say. Okay? Do you feel better now?
No, that don't work.
I just gave a disclaimer and got you out of it. Now, how that don't work?
No, disclaimer doesn't work. Because when they speak of Oscar, they speak of Mo.
When they speak to Oscar, me and you are two totally different individuals. You have a very this is the part right here. And Philly, Dreamy, y'all should get this. You and I have we have a very different perspective about we don't share the same perspective about the wrestling business, which got me in a lot of trouble. Because I got in a lot of trouble because a lot of the boys say, well, Oscar don't respect the business. Well, that's not exactly true. I respect the business. It's been good to me and everything like that, but I have my own set of opinions about it.
Okay.
The WWE, as much love as I have for what they've done for me, and put me in the game, and 20 years later, people know me and all that. I'm grateful for that. But today, when I look at the program, it looks like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. There's no getting around it.
Okay, business aside, okay, when Gene Simmons decides to run down the street in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, Gene Simmons of Kiss, in case y'all don't know.
Naked, with his Kiss paint on his face, right? And them high boots he be wearing. When that report rolls across the television program, it says, famous frontman Gene Simmons of the group Kiss was seen running down Los Angeles Avenue butt naked in his boots and face paint.
Okay, you see, this is the part. This is the part.
In the wrestling business, they say famous frontman and fat boy from Men on a Mission, Oscar, was quoted on the radio as saying, "Who the hell is Q-Ball Carmichael?" Oscar of who? Men on a Mission. You know, fat boy, frontman, rap star, Oscar, Men on a Mission. We are joined at the hip, my friend, as long as we're in this wrestling game.
All right, well, I can see out the corner of my eye that once again, the fabulous Dreamy Mimi is nodding her head in agreement with what you said, like she always agrees with you. What you got to say about it, honey bunny?
I have nothing to say about it. You just said what you feel like saying, and you have your own opinions and thoughts behind it. You know I don't agree with you, but it is what it is.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you a question. Not to put our marital business out in the street, but I want to ask you: when have you ever agreed with me about anything?
When she said I do.
Oh, the buck stopped there, didn't it?
When she said I do. She agreed.
That's excuse me. That's funny.
She agreed to marry you, fat boy.
No,
that's it. That's the answer.
All right.
She agreed to marry you, fat boy. Now move on with the show.
All right,
Amen
moving on.
to that.
All right, moving on. Tonight we have Tony DeVito, who started off as a talent enhancement guy in the 90s, who we have wrestled a few times and met on a mission, who went to ECW to join the famous, tag team, the Baldies. He's going to be on later on. And we have my good friend and one of the nicest guys that I ever encountered while I was there. A guy, he was laid back, he was quiet, soft-spoken, a good guy to travel with, a good guy to talk to, was never involved in any negativity. Went on to ECW with Crush, and we're talking about the famous Adam Bomb and his great match he had with Earthquake at WrestleMania 10. Can't wait to catch up with Bryan Clark, Adam Bomb. It's going to be a great show tonight. What about that, Mo?
Yes, sir, it's going to be. And the correct year was WCW, not ECW.
No, I said Tony DeVito went to ECW and Adam Bomb went to WCW.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't act like I don't know nothing.
Okay.
All right, so because we got a packed show, we're going to get our WWE report first. We're going to get that done now so we can talk about all things WWE for this week, and then we'll move on. And when our guests start joining, we'll be able to have some nice, lengthy discussion with them because we got a lot to talk about with those two individuals, so it's going to be great. So nod your head if you're ready. And the WWE report, here's Dreamy Mimi.
This is your WWE report for the week of June 21st, 2014. Vickie Guerrero has been excused from the WWE. In a mud match with Stephanie McMahon on Raw, the deck was stacked against her. A trap was set, and several divas, led by Alicia Fox, attempted to thrust Vickie into the mud pit. But when the plan backfired, it was Stephanie who succeeded in thrusting Vickie into the pit, thus winning, with the stipulation being Vickie being fired. The rivalry between Rusev and Big E is heating up with an anti-American rhetoric. A clash at Money in the Bank is set. And speaking of Money in the Bank, in addition to the ladder match to determine a new champion, there will also be a traditional ladder contract match as well. Sheamus, Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, and the Demon Kane will all compete in the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Champion ladder match. And in the contract ladder match, we have Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Rob Van Dam, Kofi Kingston, Bad News Barrett, and Jack Swagger. Naomi gets her shot at Money in the Bank with a non-title win over Paige. She gets a title shot against the NXT Wonder. Spoiler alert, on SmackDown, the match between Roman Reigns and the Demon Kane ends in a disqualification. Reigns wins. Money in the Bank is Sunday live from the Garden in Boston, and Season 1 of Total Divas airs Sunday on the WWE Network. This WWE report was brought to you by Freeman Foot Care of Gary, Indiana, 219-972-9000. I'm Dreamy Mimi for MOM Radio, not your mama's radio show. And I'd also like to introduce my new weekly segment. I saw it in a dream. My prediction for Money in the Bank. In the match between Paige and Naomi, a screw job will occur. Naomi will be closing in on the win, and there will be interference from Cameron. Paige will pull out the win, thus being Cameron's heel turn. Then you will see the formal Funkadactyls have a continued rivalry leading up to the match at SummerSlam.
Okay, now, what do you think of that, Felix? Does that sound like something that looks like it's leading up to happening?
As far as the Cameron turn, oh yes. I definitely agree with that. It's only been obvious at this point. I've never really been a fan of hers personally. It's not nothing against her. Personally, just that I've been more of a fan of Naomi, Trinity, however you want to call her. She seems more of a workhorse. Personally, I think she seems more like she's more familiar, more comfortable in the ring. I wouldn't mind seeing something kind of build out of this match between Paige and Naomi, because I believe they can put on a good match together. That's just my opinion.
No, I think that, but yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. I think that Naomi is going to be closing in on a win on Paige. I don't see them dropping the strap to her right there at Money in the Bank, because I think it's going to be more beneficial and more fruitful to let Cameron interfere, and then that's going to spark, the big, run with Naomi and Cameron having a bunch of matches. I don't know. I'm not 1,000% convinced that it might be a SummerSlam type match. I mean, it very well may be because they've been together so long. But, I mean, no. I mean, it's definitely going down that road. I think Dreamy hit the mark, Mo.
Well, I look at it from a wrestling perspective. Naomi, I think, is very talented. I think she can go just about anywhere in any angle, any program that they may put her in there in the company. As far as Cameron goes, I just don't think that she's got the ring skills to effectively be, to be believable in a program, be her a heel or babyface. I'm just sold on character and her wrestling ability.
Yeah, I don't,
To elaborate on that a little bit, it's like the first time they stuck, the babyface divas against the heel divas, and they had Eva Marie in there and the other girl, JoJo, who, they've kind of tossed aside or whatever. You can see Naomi had a lot of talent. She looked real comfortable in there with everything that she was doing. Cameron would be in and out, not really doing a whole lot, which would suggest that she doesn't have that ring presence or that ring confidence. She may have grabbed some ring confidence and a little bit of work in the ring here recently, but the last time I saw her, I wasn't convinced that, she could just go in there and have a really good singles match with any female.
Well, that's probably the reason why they tried to work her as on an angle in season 1 of Total Divas as, the psycho female, to kind of compensate her character, but because of her lack of in-ring skill, so they had to try to bring her to the table, a different kind of way. Now, when it comes down to Alicia Fox got in-ring skill, and with this new, crazy psycho persona they just gave her, she could be a real character.
Well, Alicia Fox is always. Alicia Fox didn't hold the women's diva title for so long because she didn't have talent. She's always been, in my opinion, one of the better workers up there. Put her in the ring with Natalya. She's always, like I said, was one of those that you didn't have to worry about it just being about TNA. And I hate those TNA matches, if you know what I mean. But Alicia Fox has always been one of those that I thought, from a talent perspective, was always very talented.
Yeah, no. I mean, she's top notch. Like you said, her and Natalya. Talent-wise, her and Natalya. Leaders of the pack when it comes to the Diva locker room.
I mean, she stayed champion for a long time. I would, somebody that's been there, and you've been there, Oscar. So, if you, I don't know how much you paid attention, but somebody that's been there that knows that company, that watches the program. When you look at somebody like an Alicia Fox, or let's say a Dolph Ziggler, for example, when you look at somebody that rose all the way to the top of the ladder, and then just out of nowhere, they're at the bottom of the ladder and they're doing jobs every week. They're putting everybody over. All you can say to yourself is, who did they piss off? They had to piss somebody off. You don't just lose talent. You don't just be world champion one day and then the next day, you doing jobs like that. You know what I mean?
That has 90% to do with it, but see, here go the problem. See, back in the 90s, what they did when new people came in, they had the talent enhancement guys, the job guys, and they built the talent up to something. A lot of it got to do with the fact that they had people come in and they have new people come in, like you got Rusev coming in, you got Rose coming in, you got Bo Dallas coming in. Same thing they did with Ryback. They come in and they come in destroying everybody. They come in destroying everybody from their debut on. And then in 6 months, after they done ran through people, they done got a belt, got a title, got a this, got a that. There's no place for them to go but down. What else do you do with them? They're not built. They're not developing the characters no more and building them from the ground up to have staying power. That's what Macho Man Randy Savage was trying to tell me. That's what he was trying to tell me about us, about how we can have staying power there to build up. They do too much with you, put you on every pay-per-view. They don't have no place else for you to go.
Oh, I agree with that. I just don't think that in Alicia Fox's case or in Dolph Ziggler's case, that's what they did. I don't, because I mean they were there and they were putting in work and they worked up to those spots. They didn't come in there just beating people. I mean those guys even today. I mean if they didn't have any net worth, right? WWE just cleaned the house last week before last. Those guys would have been on too. Those guys actually have talent. Those guys actually have character and bring a lot to the table. I just think that somewhere in there somebody said something that they wasn't supposed to say or did something that they wasn't supposed to do that pissed somebody off, and that's why they're sitting where they're sitting.
Well, it's not hard to do that. We both know that.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with, they get to this certain level and then you don't have anywhere for them to go. If that be the case, I mean we got a Stardust now. I mean Cody Rhodes came in the door, getting pushed to the moon. He's been everywhere except the world title. And they're reinventing him, so I don't think it's got anything to do with that part of it. Not to say that you're wrong. I think you have the right idea about it. I just think that those particular people, because Alicia Fox was hot, man. As a female, as a Divas champion, she was on fire, man. She was beating everybody. I mean, what was the girl that left to go be with Edge, the muscle-bound chick?
Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix, right. I mean, come on now. We're not talking about she beat some slouches. So obviously one thing that hasn't changed over the years is the backstage politics. It's still in full effect. You got to always be on your P's and Q's. You got to always watch what you say or who you say it to. You're better off not saying anything. And you're better off, think about this, man. Do you know how much heat AJ got after she won the belt and she put that thing on the back of her neck from the girl?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, something that simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a kid. You're talking about a kid. When you look back in the history, standing at an autograph table in front of her favorite wrestler, Lita, getting an autograph at 8, 9 years old, dreaming about this, and then one day it comes true, and she's not supposed to be excited about it, or but everybody takes that as, oh man, that's just ridiculous. She tattooed that thing on the back of her neck. That's about as bad as everybody trying to get mad at Warrior for changing his name. Come on, man. She was proud of what she done. He was proud of who he thought he was. Why does that have to be a bad thing? But up there, we dealing with some kindergartners, man.
Well,
a lot of.
It's very easy to misconstrue. It's perception is reality. I mean, it's a thing to where if one or two people find something disrespectful, then that's what it is. It's going to be disrespectful, to them. But my question to you is it the right thing right now? I mean, talk about something different, but the same thing at the same time. Is it the right thing for somebody like an Adam Rose to go in and beat Titus O'Neil like Diesel beat Bob Backlund in 13 seconds twice?
Okay.
I'm asking,
right? Is that right?
Yeah, is it right? Is it believable? Is it I mean, you know, like Nelson used to say, is it unrealistic?
Well, I think with the Adam Rose thing, I think they spent so much money promoting him and pushing that character that he's got to come in the door and make an immediate impact. He's got to.
All right.
I mean, it's kind of like with us, man, for example. You can't put that kind of money in the vignettes and promos for that long period of time and then that person come in and just flop. Then you're gonna have to tell the fans, well, I mean, y'all spent this kind of money on this talent and he can't beat somebody like Titus O'Neil.
But I mean, my thing is they whoever the new person is, they just put them out there and they win everything that they go out to do. And I personally, as a fan, I don't think it's believable. Everybody that they go up against.
Well, I think that I think you have to look past what's believable. Me. And the reason I say you have to look past what's believable is because you have too much of an inside track, so you can't look at it just like a wrestling fan. You're looking at it like a wrestling fan, but somebody that's got an inside track, so you kind of look at it like, you know what, that don't make sense. Like for me, you know, I can look at something and be like, that don't make sense for that little guy right there to beat that guy, you know, El Torito to do something to somebody, or Hornswoggle to do something to somebody. But for a wrestling fan, a true wrestling fan that don't have no backstage inside knowledge of how it works, they won't see it that way. So, you know, I mean, realistically, you have to look at it from a different perspective, because you are a wrestling fan, but at the same time, you got an inside track to it, and you also know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense from a production point of view. And that's what you're looking at it as, from a production point of view, not from a street point of view.
Yeah.
Which is how you got to look at it. You have to look at, okay, how did this person win this match? From a street point of view, does that make sense? You know what I mean? Because I've seen the biggest guy get beat up by the smallest guy on the street.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about as far as the size and all that. My thing is just the fact that it's just week after week that you brought these three people out, and every match that they go into, they're going to win it. So it's like, okay. I honestly, it's like when Bo Dallas or Adam Rose or Rusev come out, I really don't even care about seeing the match because I already know they're going to win.
Well, I guess everybody felt the same way about Men on a Mission. Because until we started, actually facing, other superstars, every time we went to the ring, we won. I mean,
but look who we was fighting. But then look at what happened when the talent level, when the talent level started to increase. We didn't beat everybody.
But okay, we're not. There again, we're in a different era. We're in an era of where everybody that makes it to that roster is supposed to be a superstar. Otherwise, you don't make it to the main roster. That's the whole point. You don't make it to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown, coming from NXT, unless you're considered to be able to go up there. You ain't going to go up there and just lose every match. Then what's the point of you leaving NXT and coming to the main roster? You're supposed to be an addition to the roster, a point up to the roster, not just another body added to the roster. That's the whole purpose. You know what I mean?
I have a great question for you, Sir Mo, since you can explain about how things go from a production standpoint. And here it is. My client, Sir Mo, went down to Dothan, Alabama last week and got his ass handed to him by some indie jabroni named Justin Overstreet. Now, from a production standpoint, explain to me why you put that punk kid over and made us all look bad.
Okay. Well, if I have to explain it on the radio, I'll put it to you like this. First of all, I had total creative control of what I was doing in Alabama, first of all. Without a shadow of a doubt, I had total creative control. When I walked out of that dressing room, that kid was thinking that this match was going to be a count-out. He was going to get a DQ. He was going to win by DQ. Because I had the fans eating out of my hands as a heel in the middle of the match with the referee, I changed the finish. Why? Because it makes sense to put the guy over and then me come back the next time with an issue of, you know what, I don't want the belt, I just want to get my hands on the kid again. So, I get a return match. Do you think the outcome is going to be the same? You're going to have to wait and see. But from where I'm sitting, I doubt it. Where I'm sitting, there's going to be an ambulance somewhere. From a production standpoint, it made sense because I was working on a return. Okay?
My client, Servo, went down to Dothan, Alabama and got his ass handed to him by some punk kid named Justin Overstreet. It's the O and 0-1 that he has down there in Alabama. Thanks a lot, Mo. We're all looking where, Nelson Frazier's looking down at us all right now with great pride.
Yeah, you can say that with sarcasm, but I guarantee, knowing Nelson Frazier like I know Nelson Frazier, he would have been like, good job, dog, because we get to come back next month and get that same big payoff. I know what I was doing.
Who the hell was me? I wasn't invited nowhere. I don't get invited across the street to get a hot dog, so I don't care what you do down here in Alabama.
You about 50,000 miles away from everything, man.
Oh, here we go with the 50,000 miles away. All right, whatever.
Okay, Andrew Dice Clay, proceed.
Anyway. All right, so Dreamy, last week you thought that they threw Raw together. Yeah, you didn't really. Okay, no, that's not a good question. All right, you know, Mo, it's really hard being your friend. I just got to tell you, I'm just, rubbing my neck and shaking my head. So anyway, all right. So I read the WWE app extensively, and I read a quote on there where they said that Triple H is basically waiting for Vince to step down, and when Vince steps down, that's when he's going to retool the whole thing. But here's the problem with that. Vince is never stepping down. I mean, you are delusional if you think that Vince is not going to step. The only way that Triple H is going to get his hands on that promotion to do it the way he want to do it is over Vince's dead body. And I don't mean that in a cliched way. I mean over Vince's dead body. Vince really got to die in order for him to. That's the only way that he's going to step down.
There's been quite a few mysterious deaths here recently, son.
Vince is going to be 94 years old. He's going to be 94 years old. He's going to be like, all right, no, we're going to change that finish. We're going to change that finish right now. No, I don't want that kid going over on that kid. And no, he's not getting the belt tonight. I know I told him he's going to get the belt, but he's not getting it. Somebody call Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan died 10 years ago, Vince. Oh, okay. Well, that kid's not getting the belt tonight. Where's my oatmeal? He's not getting the belt. Somebody call Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's going to be old and senile, but still trying to run things. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm going to tell y'all now, I do not like the direction that WWE is going production-wise, or I just do not like what I'm seeing today. I'm just sorry. I just don't. Circus Soleil is like what I'm looking at when I'm looking at it.
What do you think, Felix? What's your opinion of the WWE program?
Well, to be honest, I actually have been enjoying it. I mean, for what it is, for what they're doing with it, for what the new stars that they're trying to create and getting them over. The only thing that I feel that it's lacking is the amount of time to build a story. Everything is so fast-paced. Sometimes the stories don't get over as good as they had hoped because they don't give it time to build. They throw it together and hope for the best. It's kind of a roll of the dice. You take it or you don't. That's really the only complaints I would have. I mean, the show-wise, it has to constantly keep changing with the times, and I believe they do the best they can to do that. Now, they don't have the 10.0 ratings or 8.0 ratings that they had back in the late 90s, but then again, it's like I said, it's a different era,
Right. I got you.
That's just how I see it.
I agree with a lot of what you said, Phyllis. I just as far as the storylines and everything goes, I think that what the problem is, and I understand the reasoning behind it, but what the problem is, you have too many people that you're trying to, if you had a smaller crew to work with, instead of trying to keep everybody involved in something. Number one, and number two, and I know it's about money, but I think they bit off more than they can chew going to a 3-hour program. Trying to come up with 3 hours of new content every week, man, that has got to be driving the writers crazy.
Probably why Vince Russo retired a long time ago.
and probably, and all it takes is to do all this writing. You write all this program up for 6 months, right? And after like the third week, the top person in the program, say Bryan, has to go and have neck surgery or something. Now you got to shift gears and you got to find somebody to take his place, to fill his spot. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think they got a person on the roster that can fill his spot.
Was Raw better as a 1-hour show or a 2-hour show?
I think 2 hours is good.
2 hours is good. 2 hours is good if you get rid of all the unnecessary, mumbo jumbo, the throwing up on people and that crap that really makes no sense, and get back to some real life drama, some real life issues.
Let me pose a question to both of you guys, and Mimi, I'd love to hear your input as well. I'm not sure if you guys watch it or not. Just recently, it was announced that TNA's WrestleMania type pay-per-view, their Bound for Glory, is going to be taking place in Tokyo, Japan.
Right.
For the first time, they're going to be doing their big pay-per-view, their biggest of the year, out of the country. And I don't know how often you guys watch, but I'm curious to see what you guys think about that.
Well, are they going to include New Japan talent?
Yes. No, actually, that's going to be from Muda's organization, the Great Muda.
Right.
He's got his own. I can't remember the name.
That's going to be a show worth watching. Definitely.
I think New Japan is with just signed a deal with Jeff Jarrett. Is Muda with All Japan or is that
Muda's got his own organization. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but as soon as I get that out, I will bring it up again.
Well, that is probably the biggest and the hugest thing that they could possibly do.
Exactly.
To take that pay-per-view to Japan.
Yes.
Maybe, and it's more about TNA needs income, and they stand to make more income doing it there than they would doing it in a building here, in the States.
Positively.
Over there. Sir?
Would a proven Japanese promotion, be it New Japan or I've gotta believe that Muda has a foothold on the Japanese wrestling market like any of the other ones. They can actually, with their talent, they can actually have it at an Egg Dome or a Tokyo Dome or at least the biggest venue that TNA has been in to date with the Japanese stars participating.
Well, it's actually the Wrestle One organization that Muda runs. The Great Muda is the promoter for that company out there. Wrestle One.
And just because Muda himself is in that organization in any way, shape, or form, he's going to be on that pay-per-view in any way, shape, or form. That alone in Japan would be the price of admission.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so they should do some incredible numbers. I'm not a big TNA fan, only because I just think that a lot of the guys that left Vince and went down there have done some of the same things that the guys that left Vince before and went to WCW. They've gone down there and they've put a stranglehold on TNA. And so it's like, if a certain person's not champion, this, that, cause honestly, this is probably not, and I'm always talking about being PC, but I never thought Bubba Ray was good as a heavyweight champion. You know, Kurt Angle, yes, the Rude Kid,
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode. I think he looked great as a champion just because Bobby Roode had that young Ric Flair type of style. You know, he had that flair, but he was still a heel. You know, and he was still very believable. I think that he made a good champion. I wasn't too thrilled or too convinced with Christian as the champion down there. I'm not too big on Bobby Lashley being the champion right now. I think they could have. I guess MVP getting hurt to reason he didn't dropped on him, but you know, I mean, you go put the belt on somebody. At least put the belt on somebody that you can put on a microphone and can at least talk a good ass whooping. You know what I mean?
That's actually what I was going to tell you too.
All right, now Mo, answer me this: is it pure ego that kept Vince all these years from doing the same thing? Why did WWE or even WWF? Why did they? Now I can tell you. Now I know you remember what kept us from doing a cross WCW deal, which he was working on. But I get to that story in a minute because it's a pretty good story. But what always kept Vince from getting with New Japan or somebody like that to do an event?
Vince did. You're wrong, Vince. Vince did some pay-per-views and did some events. Some big-time events in conjunction with the Japanese.
No, what kept them from doing it on an ongoing basis? I guess that's my question.
You have to go back and look at it. Like at the time when you remember when Royal Rumble '94 when Chinru them came down.
Yeah.
See, for them to even do that, he was working in conjunction with them.
I got that part. I remember when Chinru and them came. No. What I'm saying is, why do they never go over in concert with New Japan, do something at an Egg Dome or a Tokyo Dome? Just like TNA is doing, and on an ongoing basis. What kept Vince from doing that?
They've done it in the past.
Okay.
They have done it in the past. You just got to go back and look it up, but they have done it in the past. Now. You know, I don't know if relationships got strained or what, but what was the female that was there? Bull Nakano?
Bull Nakano, yeah.
And the guy with the paint all over himself?
Hakushi?
Yeah. I mean, they had a working relationship with them then. That's how those guys got hired and were working over here. So they've done it. You know, it's just that. I mean, Vince McMahon is a global juggernaut, man. If he don't see a huge benefit in doing it, he's not gonna do it.
Hakishi came in there and he was Hakishi came in there and he was the most talented wrestler was there when he was there, from what I remember.
Of course. He and Bull Nakano were Japanese legends at the time. That's why they got that.
Let's not forget Aja Kong too. Aja Kong showed up there a little bit too.
Right. You're exactly right.
All right.
That's the crazy face paint stuff.
Now for the people that don't know, let me tell y'all what kept back in the '90s WWF from merging with WCW to do a pay-per-view. Vince was in negotiation with Ted Turner at the time, who owned WCW, who owned TBS, who owned the whole thing. He owned the network, he owned the wrestling promotion, all of the kind of stuff like this. There were big plans to integrate and have a pay-per-view or a series of events with the WWF, WCW stars. In negotiations, Ted Turner told Vince that in order to do it, that he wanted to own a piece of the WWF. He wanted to actually own a piece. And that's when Vince lost his mind and pretty much told Ted Turner to go screw himself. That's why you never ever saw that, Felix, because Ted Turner and Vince couldn't see eye to eye, and Vince was not going to relinquish a part of his company, least of all to Ted Turner.
Billionaire Ted, no, not likely.
Nope.
I mean, the politics that keep things from getting done. But, no, if TNA is going to do that move, I wish them well. I think it's a fantastic thing, and I think it will thrust them into a new era if it's done properly, and I don't see how it can't be.
Well, let me ask you now, Mo and Oscar, if tomorrow, let's just say tomorrow, you get a call from Dixie Carter herself, say, hey guys, I heard your show, and I want to bring you guys in because I liked the discussion that you guys talked about as far as getting this talent over and your ideas, and I'd like you guys to come in and work with our guys and gals. It's the same aspect with WWE, but it's a different company. And I mean, would you ever be opposed to working with Dixie Carter and TNA?
Me, no, I wouldn't. I would relish the opportunity just to be able to show my creative side, show that I have a knowledge of production and a knowledge of what looks good, what sells, what doesn't sell. I mean, they have the talent. Don't get me wrong. They have the talent to do, wonders. I mean, Jeff Hardy, Matt, and they used Matt at the Manhattan Center last night. Jeff and Matt together. The Hardy Boys. You got Robert Roode. You got Joe, the Samoan Joe, MVP when he gets healthy. Eric Young,
the American Wolves, I believe.
You got those guys. Austin Aries still there.
Still there.
So you have a ton of talented people. I would, if I was brought into that situation, I would add one or two people that's not there, that's out there, kind of free agents right now, unless he signed a contract that I don't know nothing about. But I would stick Adam Pearce on that TNA roster.
He's not a bad choice. He's actually a very good choice.
I would stick Adam Pearce on that TNA roster in a heartbeat. I would stick him on that TNA roster.
Don't forget Q-Ball Carmichael.
You know what? I would. I would stick him on that roster.
Yeah, I know you would.
Maybe not as in a talent where he's wrestling every night, because I don't think he would want to do that. But I think he has enough knowledge that, backstage and production and storytelling. I think he's got a world of knowledge that he could help that program out, man. I know you. I'm not gonna hear the end of it, but we're talking about somebody that's been in the business 31 years, not 22 like me and you, Oscar. We talking about 31 years. That was trained by Luthez, and that in itself says enough. Trained by Luthez, that in itself says enough. But I would add him. I would add him into the creative mix, and I believe that if Dick Carter them, I believe that if they change their writers, take the talent out of the writing room, and put the talent in the ring, and leave them in the ring, don't give them any creative control. Pay them what they say they're going to pay them, but make them do what they're told to do. I think that they can be successful. I think that they shoot themselves in the foot when they give workers too much creative control over what's going on, because they are too self-serving and egotistical to do what's best for business. They're trying to do what's best for them and their financial future, and that's not how you make the business grow.
Well, me personally, to answer your question, Felix, I wouldn't go to any promotion to be an in-ring talent anymore, to be in front of the camera. I would not
well,
do
actually,
that
I would say for
anymore.
you, Oscar, to maybe be a part of the announce team and maybe work with Mike Tenay and Taz.
I mean, I would. Well, first off, Dreamy would have to let me leave the job that I have now to go down there. I mean, that has a lot to do with whether or not I could go. But if I got permission to do that and go, then yeah, I mean, I definitely think that my voice got a few more years of chop to it, and yeah, I think I'd be a decent announcer to do with anything. Honey, could I go to get a job like that if the opportunity were presented?
Do you really even have to ask that?
Yes, I have to ask permission for everything. Don't act like this can be on the radio. I don't.
It's not that. It's just that, I mean, based on our situation now, you really have to ask that?
Well, I asked you everything. What do you mean? Yeah. I mean, I posted a picture of my freezer on Instagram.
That type of opportunity would definitely give us more than what we got going on now. So, no, you wouldn't have to ask permission.
Yeah, definitely. Because,
like I said, we gotta go.
I posted a picture of my freezer on Instagram. I'm not ashamed. Okay, it's got to be after 8 o'clock. I guess we're not getting stood up again, but we're just playing with ourselves. I mean, talking to ourselves. What?
Hold on one second, guys.
He said, hold on. He didn't mean for y'all to talk.
Oh, so he said, hold on. I'm holding on like I'm on a regular call. I'm sorry. So, yeah, Mo, July, 14th, or was it the 12th you going back to Alabama, or what?
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you guys off there. I do have Mr. Clark on the line.
Oh, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I cannot wait to talk to this guy. I'm like 5 seconds away. My friend Bryan Clark, Adam Baum. Adam Baum, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Adam.
Hey, it's Mo. How you doing?
Sir Mo, what's up, brother?
I don't know, Big Money. How you?
I'm good, man. You know, just out in Arizona, taking it easy, and it's getting a little hot right now, about 110. But
okay.
It's worth the payoff, you know what I mean?
I got you. Well, before Oscar gets started, I want to ask you, how you feeling health-wise?
You know what? I've actually, you know, even when I retired from the ring in 2003, I still always trained and kept myself in really good shape, and still am. But I recently had a knee injury, and I'm not really sure what's going on with it. I'm going to get a second opinion from a doctor and go from there. But other than that, I feel great.
Good. I remember last year seeing you at the Fan Fest there in Rhode Island. You look great, man. You look like you ain't missed a step.
Well, man, you know, I'm trying to, man. I can't let these young guys try to run me over, you know. Yeah.
You look absolutely fantastic. I thought to myself, well, shoot, man, that reminded me of a picture that I had saw years prior to me getting in the business. I think you was with Ox Baker or something. You remember that? You know?
Yeah, you know, Ox actually, you know, a lot of people think he trained me, but actually he really just sort of introduced me to the business. I actually got trained down at the original power plant, which is with Dwayne Bruce and Jody Hamilton.
Yeah.
Those guys were the ones that really trained me.
Okay. I remember when Nelson and I, we were, this was early 91, we were sitting in our apartment in Charlotte, and we were reading magazines and stuff, and Nelson's uncle was really good friends with Ox Baker. And at that time was when the first time I think I saw a picture of you with Ox Baker, and I thought, wow, you know, and Nelson's uncle was like, man, just you give me the word, I'll call Ox Baker, man, and he can put you down like you got this kid down, you know. And his uncle used to call him all the time. And Nelson would say, well, that sounds good, Unc, but, you know, we're a tag team, you know, can you? And his uncle would be like, no, Junior, he said, I'm just going to take care of you. And Nelson being the person that he was, he would never go for that deal. It was like, we'll tag team, man. We, you know. Of course, all that changed. All that changed out up there, but you know how that goes.
Well, good, man. That just shows how much of a stand-up guy he was to want you guys to stay together as a team, you know?
Bro, he did it on more than one occasion.
I know it. I'm sure.
The last time he done it, it was 95 Royal Rumble. We went in to tell Vince we were leaving. We were wanting to leave and go to WCW. We had been talking to Eric Bischoff. And
right.
And we went in and talked to Vince, told Vince we wanted to leave. And Vince, because they weren't doing nothing with me at the time. At the time, that was when they were starving me out. They wasn't doing nothing. And Nelson was telling Vince, he's like, well, you guys are not doing anything with Mo. We just think it's time that we leave. And that's when Vince's original deal was to put the tag team straps on us at WrestleMania 11. And then before we even walked out of the room, he changed his mind and said, no, I promised to do that with Owen Hart. And then he promised to give Nelson King of the Ring. Well,
of course,
you know,
I was sitting right next to him. You know what happened with that deal?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you know,
I totally understand about those unfulfilled promises. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
you know
what were the circumstances of your transition from WWF to WCW there, Bryan?
Well, I'm not real big on being lied to, and when a man sits down next to me and looks me in my eye and tells me that, hey, I want you to put over Mabel, which I had no problem with because I was always tight with big money,
right,
and MOM in general, but I had no problem with that whatsoever. But those guys said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the King of the Ring on big money, and we're going to make you Intercontinental title. I said, that's fine. That sounds great. I love it. Let's do it. And then, of course, politics, and Shawn Michaels and the clique, stopped that. And I said, you know what? You guys are paying me nothing. I live in Atlanta. I can make 5 times the money. And I went to Atlanta, and I did. I made more money than I ever made.
Right.
Now, besides the money part of it, you know, a lot of people would love to know this. What was the quintessential difference between backstage politics, just in-ring work or whatever? Which was the better promotion to work for and why? What was the basic difference between being in WWF and WCW at the time, the way you see it?
Well, okay, in the WWF, WWE, I mean, we worked constantly. You know how brutal our schedule was. We were on the road for 280 out of the year, man. I mean, we lived on the road. So you worked every night and you got better every night. And WCW, by the time I got to WCW, I was already pretty polished. You know what I mean? So I didn't have to work. I would say definitely not as much. I worked as hard always, but just not as much. And that was the difference. And of course the money.
Now the money, you made more money in WCW?
Man, the first year, man, the numbers will blow you away compared to what Bischoff offered me. I met Bischoff at a sports bar, and he's like, you know what? He said, as soon as you're clear from there, you come and work for me, and that was it. I had a 3-year deal with Bischoff before I left that restaurant.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep.
So, not to cut you off, Oscar, whose idea, Bryan, was it to put you and Bryan Adams together?
You know what? Actually, it was Bryan's idea. He called me, and I'm glad he did, because at the time I had, when we were talking about it, I don't have a knee injury now, but at the time I was coming back from an ACL injury, so I went as Wrath as a single. I went on an undefeated streak for like 7, 8, 9 months. Man, they were building me up for Goldberg. And then, of course, Kevin Nash stepped in and beat me. And then he beat Goldberg. And so he broke my streak and Goldberg's streak.
Wow.
But to get back to your question, Bryan was the one who called me because I was recovering from that knee injury. And when I came back, man, they put us together, and then we just clicked, I mean, right away. It was unbelievable.
That is fantastic.
But what was that like traveling the road with that guy, man?
Dude, I'll tell you what. There were some funny guys in the business. I'm gonna tell you that. Guys that can do impersonations and do other voices and do act like they're Vince or act like they're Randy Savage or whoever, But Bryan was the king, dude. He would have me laughing so hard in the car that I would be crying. I was laughing so hard, man. He was the funniest guy I'd ever been around.
Right.
But you wouldn't know it unless you travel with him. You travel with him a little bit, man. And he's unbelievable. Right.
Cause all the times that I met him, I thought, this guy is serious. He's always business. He's never been an asshole or anything like that. He's just like he was.
He never was, man. He was always serious and had great ideas about the business and finishes and stuff. He was trained in a dojo over in Japan, so he come up real hard way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Getting back to the contrast between WWF and WCW for a second, I was told that one of the differences between the two promotions was that it was easier to get things done in WWF because you could run into Vince in the hallway and tell him you want to change your outfit or change your look or change your persona or talk about a match. And WCW was done by committee. Was Bischoff as accessible as Vince was at the time?
Okay, now here's my personal experience. It was totally the opposite. I could talk to Bischoff any time of the day. I could knock on his door, walk up, talk to him, ask him a question, change whatever I want to. With Vince, I had to sit outside of his office like I'm a little kid at a going to see the principal.
At the principal's office.
Waiting to go see him to ask him a question. So it was completely different. Bischoff and I got along great.
Yeah, I know. Going to see Vince was like sitting down waiting to see the principal.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it was like, man. I was like,
yeah, I remember that.
So I'm sure that made for a better working environment, having that kind of relationship with Bischoff.
Yeah, with Bischoff, absolutely. With Vince, because Vince was like, he was going through his big steroid trial, and he's like, I remember, he took us to Titan College. He's like, hey, guys, just stick with me. I'm going through a hard time right now. I'm going through this trial. You guys are going to make a lot of money. Things are going to be great as soon as the trial's over. He got out of the trial, and our money went down even more. I said, you know what? I was like, man, this is not what I got in this business. You know what I mean? It wasn't for just the money, but, you got to pay the bills.
Look, I went to Nelson didn't believe this because we had been separated for so long, and the whole time he was doing the King Mabel thing, he thought that, Vince then was taking care of me from a money standpoint. He's like, man, all you got, he said, you're not having to take no bumps, save your body. He said, all you got to do is show up. You're going to get minimum $5,000 for pay-per-view, this, that, the other, right? So he said, he's like, plus, man, we're going to the SummerSlam main event, title match. That's going to be a bigger payoff because it's the main event. You're part of it. I said, okay. I just went along with that thinking, right?
Right.
It was all said and done, and I hadn't been gone from there 10 years, and me and him hadn't really seen each other in 10 years. And he thought that I was bitter because he was making more money or whatever, which wasn't that had nothing to do with what was going on between us. We finally got a chance to sit down when we came up to do the thing in New England. We finally had a chance to sit down, and I purposely brought every single check stub I had from 1995 with me.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
To show him, look here, dude, every night while they're paying you $3, $4, $5, $6 grand, they're paying me $200 a night.
There you go. Right there, proof, man.
$200. I got paid $200 for the King of the Ring pay-per-view. I got paid $200 for SummerSlam. I went on a 10-day tour of Israel, got my eardrum busted, got the shit beat out of me. I came home with a check stub for $150. I can't make this stuff up, man. I can't.
Hey, dude, that's why I left, man. I'm telling you, I was main event with Undertaker. main event with Undertaker. My pay, $500.
See, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
$500, dude, and I worked him for over a month and a half in casket matches. $500. I'm like, you know what, dude? This is not gonna happen.
That's
all right.
right.
So walk us through that night. You had enough and everything else, so you go in the Vince and you say what?
I didn't say shit. I said, you know what? I told Patterson and Briscoe, I said, I'm gone. I'm going home. I walked out the door. I left. I got a call from Vince. He says, why are you not in Boston? And I let him know. I said, because you're not paying me and you lied to me.
And Vince said?
I don't really know what he says. Well, this is not professional, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exact words, what all he said. I just really stated my peace of mind to him, and I'm sure I had heat for it, and I probably still do, and I really don't care. But, I made up for it. I mean, we were 3-time World Tag Team Champions in WCW. In WWE, they never put a belt on me. They talked about it and lied about it, but they never did it. So I had plenty of reasons for leaving, and I'm glad I did.
Of course. What about what were your thoughts? What went through your mind, Bryan, when Vince ended up with WCW? What you mean? Just tell me your thought process behind that. Like, I mean, years prior to that, here you are, you just walked out.
Yep. My first thought was, okay, we're going to Japan.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, that's cool. We'll go to Japan. But Bryan, I don't know if you remember or not, but Bryan and Taker were like me and him were that tight. He was that tight with Taker too. They were buddies, man. So we still had like about, I don't know, 10 or 11 months on our contract for WCW. So we sit home and getting paid.
Right.
But Bryan still kept in touch with Taker, and Taker wanted us to come into WWE, and I was like, man, I told Bryan, I was like, man, I know he's your buddy. I don't feel good about this, but, I mean, I'm not 100%. You're not 100%. We haven't been in the ring in a while. I don't feel good about it, but, he's your friend, and I trust you, and we'll do it. And so that's what happened.
Okay. So
all right, you're out in Arizona now. What are you doing now? I mean, what's been going on? I know your knee is messed up. What you been doing out there? Is it illegal to not have an air conditioner out there? I've been wanting to ask in Arizona.
Oh man, you gotta have AC, man. Come on. I got that Hummer of mine, man, and that AC never turns off. Even in the wintertime, I keep it rolling. All the time.
What part of Arizona are you in?
I'm in Scottsdale.
Is Babes Cabaret still down there on Scottsdale Road?
What's the name of it again?
Babes Cabaret.
Yes, it's still there.
I want you to go down there, and I want you to go see my friend Jamie Ladman. He owns the place.
Huh?
I want you to go see my friend Jamie. He owns the place. Babes Cabaret on Scottsdale Road. Jamie Ladman, really good guy.
Man, I can't. My lady's not gonna let me go in there. I can't do that.
I don't want to get Bryan Clark in trouble.
No, I can't get any heat like that. Come on.
So, I hear you doing movies or something, Bryan.
Well, I got a great agent out here. She's been real. The thing is that Arizona is separate from California, and if I lived in LA, I think I'd get more work.
Right.
This past year, I did a EA Sports commercial with Larry Fitzgerald and Trey Wingo from ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently read for a follow-up to Breaking Bad. I auditioned for that actually last Monday.
Wow!
And I read for A&E's Longmire, which is like a New Age Western.
Yep, great show.
I read for that twice. So just doing odds and ends and taking some acting classes and stuff, and just trying to get polished on it. And it's a tough business, man, because it's like wrestling, You gotta get in there and just keep working until you get your break,
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a fantastic area you live in. I hope you got to keep working to live in Scottsdale. That's like the Beverly Hills of Arizona.
Well,
like I said, man, I made more money in Atlanta than I ever made with Vince. So
Well, I mean, you are a hell of a talented guy. inside the ring. You are a super nice guy outside of the ring.
Super nice guy. So I got to tell you, I enjoyed every conversation I ever had with you. I enjoyed being on the road with you. You was a stand-up guy. I mean, I could name a bunch of people that I really couldn't stand when I was there, but you certainly don't fit in that mold, and I appreciate how you treated me and how you helped me when I was there. I appreciate it. I wanted to tell you that.
Well, hey, man, you're welcome, and, I felt the same way about you guys. I mean, there was just it was just a few really, honestly, I just felt like there was a handful of good people there that were just good human beings, and the rest were just like a bunch of backstabbing, do anything to get over.
Yes,
right. I wasn't like that, you know what I mean?
What I hate about that is, Bryan, is that you and I and Oscar, we can sit here on this radio and we can say that, and the thing about it is, it's the truth. But everybody else hearing it, the only thing gonna come out of their mouth or out of in their mind is,
they're gonna say, they're gonna say we were bitter and shit like that, right? Right.
Yep. We just bitter. We're just bitter. We didn't get nothing. We didn't do nothing. We didn't accomplish nothing. We're just bitter.
I tell you what, I was bitter for being lied to. I tell you that. That's for sure. That's why I left.
I was bitter for 9 months when they had me on the road, starving me to death. Had me so depressed I wanted to kill myself. Because I mean, anybody that's ever been in this business, that ever wanted to do anything in this business, man, does it not kill you just to have to sit at home from an injury to not be able to get in that ring and do your thing?
Oh yeah, it's horrible, man. But that's when I did have an injury, I only had one other really real injury. Was my left knee in Atlanta. It does. It's hard, man, because you want to get back out there and other people are moving up and you're just sitting there watching it. That's that'll eat you up.
And just imagine, Bryan, this for a second. Imagine being on the road for 9 straight months, going to every single show, and they need somebody to work, but instead of telling you to suit up, putting you in there, they fly the Brooklyn Brawl in there to work, and you still got to stand in the back and just watch the show and go from town to town, and the only money you're getting is that $200 a night draw for 9 months.
Well, because Brooklyn Brawler, that whole backstory. Still
we're not going to do the Brooklyn Brawler backstories. We're not breaking news like that on here, gentlemen.
He's still there, still collecting a check, and let's say he's playing golf with Pat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Woo! We walking. Bryan, it was nice to have you on. You're going to get us cut off the air, and you're going to get visitors out knocking at our door.
Hey, man, I'm just telling you the truth, man. They want to know the truth. I tell you the truth. I ain't going to lie to you.
Yeah, right. No, we don't want the truth. We just want a really good interview.
All right,
hey,
man.
Bro, I've always admired and respected you, man. I appreciate you coming back.
Hey, guys, I feel the same way, man, definitely, no doubt.
Okay. Hit me up sometime, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Definitely.
All right, guys, you take care of yourself. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, Bryan. Thanks for coming, man.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay, Dreamy, that was an example of somebody who was walking that, as you call it, line, and we had to stop him before he crossed over.
No, he was okay.
We can't hear you. On mute, honey. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. He was definitely getting ready to walk over that line.
That's okay.
He was in the right company then.
He was. He was talking about that hole-in-one.
Oh yeah, he was at. Okie dokie.
Yeah. So let's see what time it is. DeVito should be calling in about 6 minutes.
All right, fantastic. We got 6 minutes. Felix, sorry, we didn't give you a chance to chime in. Did you want to ask Adam Bomb something?
Actually, no, but I will say this. I mean, I enjoy the guy because, above anything else, I'm a person that likes to talk with people who keep it real, who are 100%. I mean, be it good or bad, with whatever experiences they had, they always have a story to tell, and I respect the hell out of that. And you know what? I respect him for all he was able to do, more so in WCW. I know his run in WWE wasn't that great, but you know what? I enjoyed what he brought. I did want to say that we did actually have a caller. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, and hopefully that caller didn't get mad at me, but we'll get him next time when he comes back. I'm sure we'll bring him back again later in the future.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, caller. Yeah, we get pretty wrapped up around here.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, hey, you know, I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Your stories were freaking awesome. That's why I just stayed quiet.
Yeah, you know, we like to hear from our fans as well. Though we like to get them in and get their questions too. I mean, a large part of what the show is about. So anytime a fan got a question in, you know, let us know.
Yeah, go ahead next time. Feel free, man. Just say, guys, let me chime in for a second. We got a call on the line. You know, he wants to ask y'all about y'all food stamp card or something.
Yeah.
I will do that next time. I apologize.
I remember being embarrassed one night when I first started doing radio shows on the very first network. The last network I was on wasn't the first. I was on one, you know, right before, and I had Bill Apter on there, and Bill Apter is a huge guest. I remember feeling bad and embarrassed when Bill Apter was like, well, do we have any callers on the line that want to ask any questions? And there were frogs chirping in the back. I was like, no, Bill, we're just talking to ourselves here. But, yeah, no, it's a good thing we got callers calling in. Our audience is what I really would like to have. So, yeah, they can call in and ask us, the guests, anybody, anything they want to ask.
My apologies, guys.
That's okay.
No, it's okay. You didn't. I mean, hey, just the policy around here, just the policy. But no,
that's fine. I'll definitely keep that in mind if somebody calls in to want to talk to Tony. If we can get Tony DeVito on here in just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Adam Bomb is. I mean, he's one of the fantastic guys. I mean, it's just like he was saying. He had a lot of people up there backstabbing, doing anything they can do to jockey for position, burying whoever they can bury, anybody like that. He never got involved in anything like that, and I have all the respect on the planet for that guy.
Yeah. He's always super nice, man.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Never acted like he had an inside agenda or anything like that. He
right.
Just down to earth, regular people.
You know, Crush was the same way. Crush didn't have Crush had a real good disposition too.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, what's funny is the people that were the biggest. I'm gonna try to refrain from using foul language. The people that had the biggest egos and that were the biggest buttholes, man, were the guys that were on top making all the money.
Right.
You know, you would think that those guys would wouldn't have to worry about anything, wouldn't have to walk around like that. But the guys that were the biggest buttholes were the ones making all the money.
Exactly.
And the guys that were struggling, you know, were the ones that was cool, down to earth, and you know, you didn't mind going out having a beer with or something, man.
Right.
Well, I don't understand that. You're the top guy, the only other top guy in the company at the time that we were there. There was four top guys in the company. And
Bret
I was
Hart.
saying that we were there that
Bret
didn't have that butthole. It was Bret Hart. Yokozuna wasn't like that.
Right.
Taker wasn't like that.
Right.
And Macho wasn't like that, man.
Exactly.
Macho wasn't like that. I mean,
right.
Macho came in into the studio with us. Man, we spent hours with Randy Savage in the studio.
Right.
Doing vignettes and we did the SummerSlam video.
Right.
Remember that?
That was awesome.
The Lex Express, yeah.
You know, I mean, some of the, but guys like Shawn Michaels, man. Triple H was just getting there, so he wasn't in that. He wasn't in that thing. But Shawn,
he came in. Triple H came in really, really quiet.
Yeah. You know, Shawn, Scott Hall. I mean, them guys. And Kevin Nash wasn't very vocal. You know what I mean? He was kind of quiet too when he came in, when he was doing the bodyguard thing.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't very vocal, but they were always a clique. You know what I mean?
But see, the thing is, though, I never really saw nothing visually, or probably happened after I left, but I never saw nothing Kevin Nash did. He was always a stand-up guy with me and to me.
Right. I never had a problem with Kevin Nash. It's funny, though, we had an incident overseas, me and Shawn Michaels. He tried to fool Kevin Nash into it.
Right.
And Kevin just sat there. He didn't elaborate or say anything. He didn't even
exactly.
He didn't really get involved in it. You know, I've always liked that guy. I've always had respect for Kevin Nash. I mean, as a worker, I have the utmost, deepest respect for Shawn Michaels for the way he treated me. You know, it was just wrong. It was a situation that happened with Nelson that, you know, if he was going to be upset about it, he should have addressed it with Nelson, not taking it out on me. You know, and by him taking it out on me, he forced me to react like a grown man would when he's being attacked. And what happened? I get punished for 9 months. So for 9 months, I get punished, I get tortured to the point of almost committing suicide. So, you know, that is what my problem is with Shawn Michaels. You know, he drove me to that over something that had absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That speaks to character, because he didn't have the nerve to take it up with Nelson.
And that's exactly what I said to him the night that he assaulted me, and I mean, I don't know if Vince heard the whole story. I don't know if Vince cared to hear the whole story. But I just felt like it was wrong of him, Vince McMahon, to allow me to get punished and treated the way I got treated over something that I didn't do. You know what I mean?
When it came down to that, Vince's attitude was follow the money. With certain people that he was going to cater to, I mean, they could slap your mom and burn your house down, but if you retaliate, it don't go to the fact that they slapped your mom and burn your house down. It go to who you was and who they was at the time. That's how he saw it.
Right. Yeah, well, that's
not fair, but life ain't
me.
fair, so
I almost lost my life behind it.
Yeah, no. But thank God you didn't. You're still here going strong, and I'm glad. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you had did that, it would have devastated. Do you ever think about me? Do you think about my feelings, what that would have did to me, what I go through?
No.
Yeah, I
not really.
Think so. What?
No, not really.
Yeah, you ought to think about. Yeah, you ought to think about. You know, my devastation. How will I continue without you? And I got to go through life knowing that my best friend, brother, tag team guy, and a guy I spent so much time with, and a guy that I love to hate to love, but love out of this world, goes and does something like that.
Yeah.
And not only me, you got too many people that love and care about you. You know, and I'm glad you brought this up because we got a few minutes. Those Facebook posts that you do when you get down and out and start feeling bad, you need to cut that out too. You quit the business every week knowing you got a lot to offer, a lot to do, a lot of prospects, and a good 20 years left before you even retire. So why don't you knock it off?
Okay. Yes, Daddy.
Thank you. I know you're
Appreciate
being sarcastic.
Daddy.
Yeah, I know you're being sarcastic, you twit, but I'm so serious. Keep your head up at all times.
I'm all right.
Today.
I'll try to remember to take my medication.
You know, that would be a really good thing for all of us to remember to take our medication. So you need to watch what we're taking. Some of us taking these medicines that just got us plumb crazy. Ain't that right, Dreamy? Some of her medications got her twisted. She don't know whether to be nauseous, whether to be depressed, whether to be happy or nothing. It's not nothing going on in life. It's the medicine.
Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Let me trying to message DeVito here.
Yeah, we all need to get our Medicaid together and go see some real doctors that's going to prescribe us what we need, except stuff to go us out the door and make us sicker than what we is or drive us crazy. All right, so, honey, how are we doing on the show tonight? Did you enjoy the interview with Adam Bomb?
I sure did.
Okay, are we doing good? We doing better?
Yep.
All right, because we aim to please. For those who don't know, see, Felix might not know this, Mo might not know this, but I know it. This show is ran by the woman that you hear. That is what I call upstairs, the executive producer, the authority of MOM Radio, because everybody got to have somebody steering the ship, and the woman is always right. So we want to make sure she's pleased. If she's pleased, I'm pleased, and we're all pleased. So good. I'm glad. Great. Now, while we're getting DeVito on the line, I do want to map out that we are going to have the Headbangers on next Thursday. I'm sure if anybody got a lot of interesting and funny stories to tell, it's got to be Thrasher and Mosh. Those two are hilarious. Two fun guys, two of the nicest guys on the planet. Spent some time with them last year in New Jersey and can't wait to catch up with Headbanger Thrash and Headbanger Mosh, the Headbangers. July 10th, and I'm going to ask Mo about this. I like to get Justin. I like to get Q-Ball Carmichael in here. I like to get him here and give an apology, hear all his stories of his 30-some-odd years in the business. But you know who else I want to have on? Mo, I want you to get Justin Overstreet on here on the 10th of July, right before you guys' historic match, so you guys can do your back and forth, so you guys can go back and forth and explain what we're going to see in Alabama come in July. So that's your homework. Get your buddy Q-Ball on. Go get Justin Overstreet. Have them on for our July 10th show. Our 4th of July show, July 3rd, is going to be the Headbangers. So that will make for an interesting couple of weeks that we're going to have here on Not Your Mama's radio show, the MOM Radio Network. Felix, the Headbangers. You looking forward to it? All right, Felix.
I'm sorry?
The Headbangers.
No, I'm still here. I didn't realize you were directing that question to me. My apologies. You know what? I actually have had the great honor and the privilege of speaking with Thrasher in the past. He's such a great guy and so much to say, and just a very likable personality that he's got. And put him together with his tag team partner. Oh, only on Not Your Mama's Radio, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now, this week he couldn't come on because his daughter was graduating, so he was driving out to, I think, New Jersey or something, so we definitely got to congratulate him. But it's a testament to how old we all are, because when we were all together years ago, all these kids were babies. Now you got Lance full grown, flying to California by himself, working matches. Headbangers' daughters graduating. Oh my God, these kids! Some of these kids weren't even born, or if they was, they were little kids, little babies. Jesus Christ, where does the time go? Where does the time go? Where does it go?
Well, we get old. Man. We get old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we old, right?
Yeah, we get old and we get decrepit, and then we go to the upper room.
Yeah, we get old and we
get
decrepit.
Hey, guys, I got a question for you guys, all of you, and me pleasing. I'd love your input as well.
Okay.
When is it going to be the time when Mo and Oscar get together and collaborate and put down the chronicle the stories of Men on a Mission?
Wait a minute. Wait, are we talking
writing
about
a book about the Men on the Mission?
Yeah. When are we going to do that?
That would be something to read, I think.
You know, I'm glad you asked that, so you are kind of open, salt the wound. You know, Mo, you put out your own DVD, The Real Deal, anything. You didn't include me in it. You know.
Because Oscar.
Yeah.
That DVD was not about Men on a Mission, it was about Mo and Mabel. It was about Nelson and Bobby. It wasn't about Nelson, Bobby, and Oscar. You was included in it. You're in the content. But the story was really just to tell what happened with us leaving. This was after I told the story of us getting in the business. Told the story of how you and I and Nelson met. Told the story about some of the things that we went through on the road. I told the story about how it was Nelson's decision for you to be gone when we turned heel. And then I told the story about the King of the Ring thing, and then us leaving. There was so much more that could have been told. It wasn't told in that DVD. It was more or less just about me and Nelson and not being on a mission.
In retrospect, I will tell you this. It wasn't all, Nelson was instrumental in me leaving, but had I went to the ring and did what Vince asked me to do, I still would have stayed. Because all he wanted to see me do was go out there in Liberty, New York, and cuss everybody out, and then come back to prove that I could be just as heel as y'all was. And see, there's a part of me that feel like I made a mistake. And the mistake was, the heel turn would have meant more if I would have turned heel with y'all because I was a teddy bear, because I was a positive influence, because of everything else. Had I turned heel with y'all, the heat would have been 10 times hotter than y'all turning on me and doing the deal the way it was.
Right.
But my mindset at the time, and I'm saying this publicly on radio for everybody to hear, was as a rapper, as a person in the entertainment business, there was nothing that was going to make me have a negative impact on youth or be viewed as a gangster rapper or a negative influence, especially in a setting that big. That's the way I thought about it at the time. That's why I declined.
That's the way you thought about it.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. Seriously. Do I regret? There's a part of me that regrets my decision. Because if I'd have stayed, things might have went different. We might have stayed longer. But I will tell you this, since we opened up this can of worms, I do believe that whole thing was done at the worst, wrong time. As baby faces and with the Men on a Mission gimmick, we did not get all the traction and go where we needed to go to as the way it was. There's so much more we could have did the way it was.
Well, okay, I agree, but here's the thing, and I said this to Nelson. Nelson was the driving force behind everything.
Yes.
You have to understand that. And I said this to Nelson. I said, look, man, everything is centered around your character. Everything I do, everything Oscar does is centered around your character. Now, for me and for Oscar, you have to step up to the plate, go to Vince and say, Vince, we need to do something different. We need to include everybody in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I told him that. Nelson, nothing's going to get done if you just go along with the program. Because if you go along with the program, you just go along with whatever they tell you to do, and they tell you to push me and Oscar out the door, then that's what's going to happen. If you just go along with that. But if you say, no, this is a group, we're all in this together. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way it started out. That's how it started out.
Yeah, it did start that way until Vince them started dangling carrots. You know what I mean?
But see, here's the part where I fault you personally, and I'm not disagreeing with you saying, yep, everything, all roads led to Nelson at a certain time. But you shared Nelson's vision since late 1993 and 1994. You wanted to be a heel as much as he did.
Being a heel didn't have nothing to do with all the other stuff. Being turned heel didn't have anything to do with all of our stuff prior to us turning heel. they had already screwed it up. My point is, if we had all, the first time they wanted to send you and Nelson to the ring without me, if we had all stood up then and said, no, that's not happening, we'll team, then we could have nipped that in the bud. You know, the Samoans never let that happen.
Yeah, okay. In all fairness, I mean, it wasn't the way you wanted it to do, but it was because, first of all, it was because of me that you even stayed on the road. You got back in the company eventually as Sir Mo because you stayed on the road. I'm the one that spoke up to keep you to at least keep you in the game. Remember that?
Okay. Thank you, Master Case.
No, don't get sarcastic with it. Don't get sarcastic. I'm dead serious. Number one, hold on. Had I not spoke up in Poughkeepsie, we'd have all lost our jobs. Before I suggested that we apologize at that meeting, I did that. And number two, I'm the one that spoke up to at least keep you on the road, at least for you to be there and have some visibility. Because if they had sent you home, you wouldn't have came. You probably wouldn't have came back.
That was, first of all, that was White Plains, and you've already been given credit for that. So you can stop patting yourself on the shoulder.
It's not a matter of credit and patting on the back. I'm telling a story.
Stop patting yourself on the shoulder.
What?
Number two.
Hold on. Wait. She said something. What you say, honey?
I said, see, Felix, what you started.
No.
My apologies.
It's all right. Cause we're not mad. I'm not mad at him. All I'm saying is, if we as a team had stuck together in the beginning when all of that started happening, like the Samoans, every time somebody tried to do something different with them, they go have a meeting with Vince, and all of them would go. Not one of them, not two of them, all of them would go. You know, and they wouldn't come out of that meeting with Vince until they all agreed. Vince has already proven, over the years that just because he makes a decision about something, that he can't be persuaded, you know. I mean, you yourself persuaded him into keeping us, Oscar, in White Plains that day. It wasn't Poughkeepsie, it was White Plains, New York. You yourself persuaded him to keep us that day. So, if you could persuade him not to fire us that day, when all that split up stuff started happening, nobody ever said, Vince, wait a minute, let's sit down, let's talk about this. Let's figure out why are we busting up a good thing here? You know, what's the issue? You know, nobody ever addressed the whole Shawn Michaels thing until 95, 9 months after I had been taken off the road and almost killed myself. That was my point. If we all stood together as a team in the beginning, when they started making changes, then we either would have swum together or we would have sunk together. But in either case, we could have walked out of WWE at the time and went to WCW, and I guarantee we would have got a contract.
All right, two things with that. Number one, we would have took a huge risk to almost threaten Vince so that if you don't keep us together, we'll leave. But that's not even the point. The point is, I'm agreeing 100% what you're saying. It was your butt on the line. Why you didn't speak up? I would have backed you up all the way. This wasn't me, and this wasn't even about me and Nelson's career at the time. He already said we was staying. Your butt was on the line. So why didn't you speak up? If you'd have spoke up, I don't care speak for Nelson. I don't know what he would have said. He probably would have had your back too, but I definitely would have supported you on that. So why didn't you say something? It wasn't for me to speak up for you. You a grown-ass man. You should have said something, and I would have been right there with you.
Wow. Thank you, Master Case. Again,
you're welcome.
I never asked you to speak up for me. I said if we as a team would have stood together. I never asked you to speak up for me.
So you should have known what I'm saying is you should have started that dialogue. It was your butt on the line.
This is comical, man. This is the stuff that's got to go in the book. By
I'm
the way,
not laughing. Why didn't you speak up there?
This is got to go in the book. I don't have a clue what happened to Tony DeVito. He assured me he would call in. I don't know why he did not.
At this point, we don't need DeVito no more. We done opened up something that we can go to.
We need something.
Why you didn't speak up?
Man, I was scared, dude.
And I wasn't?
I don't know. Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we were scared. We were too scared to because I feel being afraid we're going to get beat up.
So what do you guys think about Vicky Guerrero leaving WWE?
Excuse me?
What
do you guys think about Vicky Guerrero leaving WWE after 9 years?
I think it's time. I think that
you guys think that they did the class thing and let her go out on a high note using Eddie's music and allowing her to throw Stephanie into the pudding or mud pit or whatever the hell that thing was?
I think so. I think yes, sir. I think that it was better. I mean, think about some of the other send-offs we've seen. I think they did her right. I think they did her right. And I think she deserved it.
Honey, that was a classy thing you did, taking a conversation in a whole other direction. Kudos for that. That's why you're going to make a great radio co-host or host or sidekick. But, yeah, I'll answer the question. Yeah, it was time for Vicky to go. And, yeah, she did go out. I don't like the way she went out. That whole mud bath pudding thing or whatever was damn ridiculous. They could have did something else. But, I mean, at least Stephanie took one for the team. I didn't think Stephanie was going to go in that pudding. I mean, I would have been wrong about that if I didn't think that was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that she, I'm glad that she took one for the team and didn't let Vicky just look stupid and suffer on her own. Everybody got a piece of that involved, so that was the real good part about it.
Right.
Mimi, what do you think?
I was glad to see Stephanie get pushed in there.
Oh, yeah.
I was really glad to see that.
What time is it?
What's that?
What time is it?
We've got about maybe 8 minutes left.
This is the fastest 2 hours in radio. I got to tell y'all, to me it go by quick.
It's funny because Mimi and myself will sit here and we'll just listen to you and Mo go on back and forth, and you all can talk for hours upon hours because a lot of that was just the two of you.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That's exactly what I just said. Yep.
Mo, at the end of the day, I just want to say to you, I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Jerk.
I'm sorry for everything, okay? You my brother, man.
I know it.
I would trade you. I wouldn't do nothing different because whatever happened got us to be close today, man. I just love you to death, man. I'm sorry, man.
Mimi, you have my sympathy. You get to put up with all this all the time.
No.
I'm kidding.
Hey, Felix, don't talk too much because you put up with it once a week, but we will call your ass every night. We don't need no red. We're getting a three-way. You can moderate arguments with me and Mo every single night. We're like, Felix, what's your opinion on it? It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. Felix, what's your opinion on this?
Hey, Felix.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, did you learn anything new on your Tuesday night program?
Are you talking about with Bill?
Yeah.
Bill Anderson told some fantastic stories. He talked a lot about Bobby Heenan. He talked about the Kangaroos. He talked about Randy Savage, Eddie Guerrero. It's a lot of great conversation. He's I'm not sure. Have you guys ever met Bill?
Is he from California?
He's actually in Arizona. We're in pretty close to the same area where I think he's in Phoenix. I'm not sure if he's in Scottsdale. He might be in Scottsdale though.
Okay.
But he's an awesome guy. Really, really a guy that tells a lot of. He's met so many people from Elvira, Tommy Lasorda, to every guy from WWE, NWA, WCW, TNA, and the list goes on and on. He's credited with training the Ultimate Warrior, and Sting.
Right. Yeah, I know who you're speaking of now. So very interesting conversation with that guy on Tuesday, huh? Who you got coming back?
Yeah, that's who we had on Tuesday.
Yeah, who you got coming up next day? This Tuesday coming up.
We've actually got the Funkasaurus himself, Brodus Clay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That should be very interesting.
That, and I credit that to Austin. Austin set that whole thing up. But, yes, we've got him coming. We've got him coming down here. And I'm sure he's got a great story to tell, from working as a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg to working with the Funkadactyls to what he's doing next.
Right. Do you Felix, this might be hard for you to comprehend.
Okay, sure. Please.
What do you think, if you had to assume, what do you think goes through the minds of those people that recently got released? What do you think goes through their mind when that happens?
Well, to be honest, I think I even touched on this on Tuesday a little bit, was because of the fact that being under the WWE umbrella for a number of years, as I'll use Brodus as an example, as he has been, getting out of that umbrella and realizing that can go to any company you want, work for whoever you want, and work whenever you want, and not have a care in the world about the fact that you have commitments to the company to go these other places. You basically come and go as you please. I really feel like it gives the guys and gals a sense of some kind of freedom for a little while to kind of get out there and just have fun and just do their thing on their own way, in their own way, in their own time. If that makes sense.
Right. A lot of people though, when that happens to them, they don't see or feel it like that. There's a certain anxiety of, because here's what you got to look at, right? A lot of those people didn't start out in the business working the roads like we did. We already knew the roads and we already knew the hardships and all that stuff. A lot of those people got on there through the Tough Enough programs and other different avenues, so they don't know the streets and the struggles and all that stuff. All they know is the corporate model, so to speak. And then when they leave there, the culture shock is you're used to getting, this is just an example, you're used to getting $1,000, $2,000 a night working for Vince, right? And you get a call from an independent promoter, and he says, "Hey, can you come in?" And you're like, "Yeah." And the promoter says, "Well, what's your fee?" And you're thinking you're still in WWE mode. And you say $2,000 a night. Yeah, you just fresh off TV, but promoter ain't gonna give you $2,000, buddy.
And that's actually true. I've heard of a lot of shady promoters out there that will hype up their shows and to promise you the world and even say that, "Oh no, I will pay you that, but don't pay you nothing."
It's not even a matter of all the promoters being shady. You got a lot of honorable ones out there. It's the economics and the math of it. They can't afford that. They don't have it. I mean,
that's true.
A lot of.
Yeah, you're talking about, here's one person on the card that's asking for $2,000. Let's just say you're in the Tennessee market. I'm just going to use the Tennessee market because this is where I'm at, and I know what ticket sales are like. You get one person that comes in for $2,000. You have to draw 400 people at that show just to pay that one person. Because we're in the Tennessee market, and in the Tennessee market, anything over $10, $12 is too high for a wrestling ticket.
And a lot of those buildings don't even hold 400 people that they have these shows.
Unless it's an all-out WWE event. You can go to New York, some of those places, New York, New Jersey, up north, and they charge $20, $25, $30, $35, $40 for a ticket. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
People in that demographic don't mind paying that. But when you get booked by one of these Tennessee promoters, that's got $5 and $6 ticket sale, when they bring in a name like that, they have to do a special. Okay, we're bringing in Scott Steiner this week. It's costing us $1,500. So we know we always get at least 100 people a week. So we got to sell at least 100 tickets. So our minimum ticket price, meet and greet, is $15, and they ain't going no higher than that. That's the way they do that math. You know, we get 100 people in here, so we get 100 people that want to see Scott Steiner meet and greet, $15. $15 for the meet and greet, $8 for general admission. Some of these guys don't think that way. Like, I'll give you an example. How long do you think John Morrison's been on TV?
About 3 years.
Quite a long time. Quite a long time, right? I had a promoter friend of mine today call him to book him for a show in November. John Morrison told him he still wanted $4,000.
Woo!
It's like, dude, you've been on TV so long, people don't even know who you are right now.
Right, exactly.
You're asking for $4,000?
In that case, I want $5,000.
Right. But that's what he asked for, seriously. Michael Tarver. Remember Michael Tarver?
I do.
He had gotten released from WWE, and like within 6 months, some guy called me and wanted me to book him on one of my events, and I said, usually what I do if I'm interested in somebody, I call him. Don't nobody call me, but I said, okay, I'm interested in listening. He's like, yeah. He said the guy lives in Florida. He'll come in for you for $2,000. I said, well, the guy lives in Florida. He can stay in Florida. $2,000? Who is he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. A lot of these independent promotions, they just don't have it. They gotta book somebody in the hundreds unless they bring it in. I mean, the only people that can do those kind of numbers are those conventioneers. Those conventioneers can do it.
Actually, can I throw in something real quick, guys, as we start to wind down? I just want to throw it out there just for the fact of Dreamy Mimi and, of course, Oscar, excuse me. Oscar is on Twitter. He is at MOM_Oscar on Twitter. Dreamy Mimi is, you can find her at DreamyMimi_MOM. Make sure you follow those guys. Keep up to date with what's going on with Nacho Mama's Radio. Okay, guys, we're rapidly running out of time. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say? I'll turn it right back over to you guys.
I love you, man.
I enjoyed being here this week, guys.
I love you, Dreamy.
Talking to Bryan Clark. It's always a pleasure to talk to Bryan.
I love you, Phil.
Absolutely. All right, man. You take care. And it is definitely always a joy to be on here with you guys every week. I look forward to talking with the Handbangers next week.
All right.
Take care, guys.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Men on the Are you ready? Well, here we go. Men on the mission. Bam, bang, boom. Here we go. Do it like this. You got to all know. Oscar, Mabel, and Mo. Joe, we're in the house. We're ready. So, men on a mission over here. Do it like this. Opposition. You better have fear. Do it like this. We got your ignition. Who's in the house? It's men on a mission. Men on a mission. Yeah. Men on a mission. In the house. Men on a mission. Show you what it's all about. Yeah. That's boom. Men on a mission. Got my man. His name is Mo. Mo's in the ring. Anyone should know. Mo. Yeah. Ready to slam. Do it like this. He goes wham bam. All around the ring. Beat drop kicking. He's like a bomb.